Welcome back to the City Current Radio Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're honored to be with our next guest. We're talking about the 2021 Morris and Mollye Fogelman International Jewish Film Festival. It's going virtual this year, so it's an opportunity for all of us to participate. We're joined by our friend Marcy Stagner. She is the Program Director of Cultural Arts with the Memphis Jewish Community Center. And Marcy, let's start. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much.
So this is an opportunity. We love having you come on because you all do so much, but this is an opportunity for us to all participate in the comfort of our home and office and anywhere in the world, which makes it really nice. But let's start, give us some context overall for the Memphis Jewish Community Center. Let's start there. You recently won the Spark Award, so congratulations for that. Awesome honor.
Thank you.
But give us some background on Memphis Jewish Community Center.
Sure. The Memphis Jewish Community Center is just that. It's a community center. It's a place for everybody. We have an early childhood center that starts with babies as young as 6 weeks old and goes through junior kindergarten. We have senior adult programs. We're a congregate site for MISO meals. And of course, we're doing those virtually now and delivering them to people and doing a daily lunch bunch group with the seniors every day. And we've got sports for kids through adults. Adult basketball leagues and softball leagues, and we've got karate and dance and an amazing fitness center, and you really never have to leave the building. You've got everything you need right here.
And one of the things you always like to point out is it is the Memphis Jewish Community Center, but it's open to everyone to be able to participate and enjoy the benefits that you offer.
Exactly. We have a very diverse membership. Like you said, we are the Memphis Jewish Community Center, but we are open to everybody. We have a very diverse membership. And it's something that we're really proud of.
So on your end, walk us through the cultural side, because obviously this is your sweetheart. This is your baby in terms of everything that you have a chance to put together. And throughout the year, you do a very good job of offering a very robust opportunity to plug in to everything from film and music and meeting different individuals. And obviously right now it's virtual, but walk us through kind of how you put together the year, especially as we're looking at 2021 on the cultural arts side.
Sure. I like to tell people that I have the fun job here because I get to do, and it's fun because it's everything that I love as an artist and as somebody who loves the arts. So I do things, I do our film festival, of course, that we're going to talk about, and I have a literary series that runs year round and bring authors from all over the world in to speak. And I have an art gallery that I curate and bring in local artists and national and international artists. And I bring in dance companies. And like I said, I get to do all the fun stuff.
When you're looking at it, and especially related to the film festival, walk us backward for how you put it together in terms of what are the goals and the objectives, what are the emotions and the conversations you're trying to evoke. Walk us through kind of what's going on in your mind when you're putting these, whether they're art exhibits, the literary festival, the film festival, when you're putting those together, what's going through your mind?
Absolutely. So I have a couple of really engaged and involved committees that I work with to help, whether it's my film committee that helps select the films to make sure that we're getting a really diverse range of films, that we're not showing all documentaries or all feature films, that we're not showing all subtitles films or all, films in English or all films about one subject, that we really have a wide range of films that will appeal to lots of different people. In terms of the art exhibit, I've got people reaching out to me all the time, and I've got this really robust list of artists, from all over the world to reach out to when we have an opening in the gallery. And I schedule that pretty far in advance typically. And then just speakers. And I'm so lucky that I go to New York every year and I meet with over 250 authors and decide who has a great book that's coming out and who's got a great personality that people are going to want to hear from. And we want to make sure that it's interesting, that it's informative, is it entertaining? Who's the audience? Is it something that's going to capture a political conversation and engage people in that way? Is it something that's just, funny and entertaining? And so we really have a broad scope of programming that is geared toward a really diverse set of people. We're not doing just one thing.
Give me, I know you can't choose a favorite, but give me one on the literary side that stands out to you, because you've had some great authors and doing it virtual has been, to me, really cool to be able to, engage, ask questions, do a lot of cool things. But give us maybe one or two of just your top of mind favorite moments recently.
So goodness. Well, since, this pandemic has started and we went virtual, and I have to say the JCC pivoted, and I think that should be the word of 2020 should be pivot, or 2021. And we pivoted very quickly and went virtual just immediately. The day that we were shut down, we went virtual right away. And I was very impressed with our whole team here and being able to do that. But one of the first programs that I did when the pandemic started that was a virtual program was we showed this film, and we partnered with PBS, and we partnered with Rose College and Communities in Conversation, and it was called Viral, Anti-Semitism and 4 Mutations. And of course, the title Viral, during this pandemic that we just learned about. I mean, we didn't know as much then as we do now. And it was about anti-Semitism. It was a documentary, and it was showed on PBS. And then I moderated the conversation with the filmmakers and with Jonathan Judakin from Rhodes College and with Facing History and ourselves. And it was just this, we had, I think, over 500 people on the film and watching the conversation afterward. And it was just a really rich conversation. And we learned a lot about what anti-Semitism can look like. And it's not just, the stereotypical like swastika tattoo on somebody's arm. And so as we're talking about prejudice and racism and anti-Semitism and these topics that are continually coming up, it's a good thing that we're talking about them, that we're able to talk about what it looks like and how to recognize it in others and also in ourselves, and checking our own implicit biases because we might not even realize that we have them.
Yeah.
So that was a really powerful conversation that we had, very engaging, lots of people on board with that. That was definitely a highlight in terms of our virtual programming.
Yeah. Stay on that for 1 second longer. Give me something that was either not necessarily an aha moment, but something that you took away from that you would offer up to the audience as either a tip, a suggestion, encouragement. What's something that you learned through that event that you say, here's something I want to put out there?
Sure. And this can be sort of controversial. And I'm somebody who doesn't, you know me, I don't shy away from controversy. And if it's done right. And something that was reinforced to me in that conversation is that any kind of critique or criticism of a government, or particularly like the Israeli government, does not necessarily make somebody anti-Semitic. It depends on the angle that you're coming from and what your perspective is and what your narrative is. But being critical of, a government does not make you unpatriotic. It does not make you, if you're critical of the Israeli government and their policies and their procedures, it does not make you anti-Israel. It does not make you anti-Semitic by any means. If you're critical of the American government, it does not make you less of a patriot. It does not make you less of an American to be critical. I would say that it makes you more patriotic to hold those critiques in your mind so that you can help the country grow to be the best that it can possibly be. And that's really what caring about your country is like, whether it's about Israel or whether it's about America or another country, being critical enough to make things better.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's switch over and talk about this. It's the 2021 Morris and Mollye Fogelman International Jewish Film Festival. It's going virtual, as we mentioned. It's in its 8th year, and you've got 9 films. So talk about the festival overall, and then we'll dive into some of the films.
Sure. Like you said, we've got 9 films, and we're running it virtually this year. So you don't even have to leave your couch. We're really excited about that. You can stay in your pajamas. You don't have to leave. Doesn't matter if it's raining or not. You don't have to find parking. We're using Eventive, which of course is a local film streaming platform. We're partnering with Indie Memphis. We're partnering with the Memphis and Shelby County Film and Television Commission. We've got lots of wonderful community partners, and we're selling tickets by the household. So rather than if you have a partner, you and your partner each having to buy an individual ticket, like when you go to a movie, here it's one set price per household. So $12 for member households, $15 for non-member households, which is a lot cheaper than you might pay otherwise if you're going to the movies. And of course, we have series passes to member and non-member prices. And you just have to, go on the website, click what you want, add them to your cart, make your purchase. And then each film is available for a set 72-hour window. And then it has to be watched within 24 hours after you start it. So the film festival starts January 27th. So our first film is called Breaking Bread, and the screening window is January 27th to January 29th. You can watch it anytime in that window. And each of the 9 films has that set has a set 3-day window to watch the film. We've got 3 panel discussions or Q&As going on with filmmakers and community partners that are going to be great attached to the film. We're partnering with Memphis Rocks and One Family Memphis. So we've got a lot going on.
And hopefully everyone knows One Family Memphis and Memphis Rocks is tied to Tom Shadyac, who has, a lot of skin in the game when it comes to the movie industry and filmmaking. So the Tom Shadyac, Bruce Almighty, Liar, Liar, Ace Ventura, Brian Banks story, the whole 9 yards. So share on your end before we talk about each of the films. I really feel like this is the future, and you're already seeing it with films like Wonder Woman is a good example where they're realizing we're going to have to pivot as an industry. And so I think what you're doing now really does lay the groundwork for the future in terms of what we're seeing. And, the 3-day window, all these things. What's something that you've learned putting this festival together that you think this is something I really feel like in the future is going to be a big part of us moving forward?
That's such a great question. I have learned so much with going virtual with our speakers and our films and everything that I wasn't sure how people were going to receive the virtual programming in general. Were they going to be able to figure out Zoom? Were they, especially maybe the older crowd or people who aren't necessarily technologically savvy? And, shame on me for not trusting people because people have figured it out. And our seniors are Zooming every day during lunch. And shame on me for underestimating people because people figured it out and they're on it and they're good at it. And we've got a whole FAQ section on our website now, like how to watch the festival, how to hook it up to your TV so you don't have to watch it on your phone, how to do that. So we're trying to make it easy for people who have questions, but people are getting it. And it's kind of nice not to have to get out of your pajamas if you don't want to. I started a virtual book club when the pandemic started, and we had it last night, and somebody kept their video off and, they didn't want whatever was going on, but they still participated. And, you have that option. You can turn your sound off, you can turn your video off, you can still show up. And so it makes it more accessible to people. And I really underestimated how people were going to be able to function with the technology piece. And they've been doing really, really amazing with it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the technology has become so user-friendly, and to your point, it opens up so many more ways for all of us to participate, and at a much higher level in terms of not just geographically confined, but literally anywhere in the world. So let's talk about some of the films. You mentioned Breaking Bread. Give us a little bit of teaser on that one because that's the first film.
Breaking Bread is an incredible film. It's a documentary. It's about food. It's about social change. It's about bringing people together through food and conversation. We know that when we have a dinner party, well, if we can remember to dinner parties way back when we used to have them, people would a lot of times gather in the kitchen. The kitchen is kind of the gathering place, and it's where a lot of conversation happens with our families, with our friends. And so there is a lot to be said about presenting your culture through food and bonding over that experience and having hard conversations around food because it's such a cultural, it's just such an institution and source of pride for so many people. And so it is a documentary about social change and about bringing people together through food. And it's really touching and it's magnificent.
Yeah. And then On Broadway is one of the next ones. So talk about On Broadway.
Another documentary. That's going to be a fan favorite. We've got a lot of big name actors and directors in that film making cameos and talking about the power of not only film, but the power of Broadway, and the power of acting, and the power of performance. And it's just a great film that everybody can relate to. Whether you've seen a play on Broadway or not, you know these actors, you know these filmmakers, and you know these stories that are told over and over and over again. And so it's very nostalgic, and really it's a great conversation.
And then you have a historical family drama, When Hitler Stole Pink Rabbit.
When Hitler Stole Pink Rabbit, I hate to say it's such a sweet film, but it is such a sweet film. It's these two children, and I'm just blown away by the acting that these two little, small children portray in this film. And of course, they're running away from the Nazis, and so it's World War II era, and these kids are having to take care of each other. and escape together. And, you know, me, I have 2 children, and, you know, as a parent, I'm watching this going, oh my goodness, if I had to leave my children and send them off at their ages to fend for themselves, or else be like, it's just, and it's true. And it's wrapping your mind around that this happened in real life, and it wasn't that long ago. We're used to seeing black and white photos, which kind of puts the historical perspective. It kind of removes us a little bit from the history. But this wasn't very long ago. I mean, what, like 76 years ago? 77 years ago, something like that. That's not very long. And it's a beautiful film about a sibling relationship, and about bravery, and about courage, and about just resiliency. Can't recommend that one enough.
Let's do a few more. Do They Ain't Ready for Me.
They Ain't Ready for Me. Okay, so this is fantastic. So, and I'll say, I'm on the board for One Family and Memphis Rocks. And so Tom is going to be doing a panel discussion with me and with Tamar, who is the star of the film, Tamar Manasseh. And Tamar is from Chicago. She's from a very, it's a neighborhood that's similar in demographics to where Memphis Rocks is in Memphis. Tamar also has family in Memphis, so she's here a lot. We've made this really cool connection. She's very excited about going to Memphis Rocks. And Tamar, so she's from sort of a rough area in Chicago. She is a Black Jewish woman. She's very culturally Black. She's very culturally Jewish. We don't see that a whole lot, and so it's an interesting dichotomy. And she owns it. She's a rabbinical student too, so she's in rabbinical school. And on this corner of a neighborhood where she is from, there were a lot of shootings and a lot of deaths, and she wanted to do what she could to stop it. And she's a mom, and I get it. And what she did, she just decided that she was going to pull up a lawn chair and put it on the corner, and that's what she was going to do. She was just going to sit there. And she did, and she noticed it curbed the violence. And then she started bringing food. And then other people started sitting with her. And now she's got this organization called MASS, which stands for Mothers or Men Against Senseless Killing. And they have stopped, I don't remember what the exact statistic is, but they have been instrumental in curbing the violence in that neighborhood. And they do similar work to what Memphis Rocks does and One Family does here in Memphis. And so the filmmaker, his name is Brad Rothschild, along with Tamar Manasseh, who's the star of the documentary, and Tom Shadyac, of course, you know Tom, are going to be the panelists, and I'm going to be moderating the discussion. And that is going to be after the viewing window of the film. So we're hoping everybody joins us for that.
Yeah, very, very cool. Wrap up with 8,000 Paperclips.
8,000 Paperclips. It's a beautiful film. It's another documentary based in Israel. It's about, it touches on issues regarding refugees. And if you're not familiar with the refugee crisis in Israel, I urge you to, anybody, not you, but anybody, to do a little research on what's happening with refugees in Israel and the proximity to Africa, and what happens to, and what happens to these people when they go into Israel, and what rights do they have. And so this teacher and artist came up with this project with these refugees living in Israel with 8,000 paper clips. And as an artist myself, I'm also a painter, and I do installation work and part of my job here, and then also independently. It just resonated with me because art is something that should bring people together. It should provoke conversation. It should make you scared. It should make you question. It should make you feel good. It should make you feel bad. Like, it should invoke emotion. And that's what this film does. It's art, and it's refugees, and really bringing home this conversation of like, who is a citizen, and what does that mean in our society, and who gets rights as a human being, and what does that look like? And it's all told through this process of making art with this group.
We'll wrap up with contact information in terms of where do we go and the website. So where do we go to participate?
Absolutely. So it's all online this year. We made it easy. You can go to jccmemphis.org/film, and you can watch all the trailers there. You can then click on buying tickets. It'll take you over to our Inventive site, where you can, again, buy all your tickets or season passes, or whatever you want to do. But that's really it. jccmemphis.org/film. You'll get the FAQ page. You'll get the Inventive to purchase tickets. You'll see the trailers, everything you need to know. My contact information is on there if you have further questions that I can help you with. But we're trying to make it pretty easy and seamless for everybody.
Absolutely. Well, Marcy, always a pleasure to see you, to have you on the show. Thank you for all you do. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.